Welcome back to the India and Stuff podcast. I am recording this outside on a nice warm summer day. It's not too squelching hot, which is great. So we'll see how long I last out here, but it's beautiful. I see a lot of green around me. There's a lot of beautiful birds and our house that's still falling apart, but it's fine. It's fine. Today, we're talking about some fun stuff. We are going to talk about what we're wearing this summer, specifically what I've been seeing as far as like online trends, what the influencer girlies are wearing, what I'm noticing on Pinterest and, out in public, like at church and coffee shops. So some of the summer trends as far as wardrobe and some of the things I'm currently looking for when it comes to thrifting. A lot of the times people ask me questions about how do I thrift? How do I find pieces amidst, all this chaotic collection of clothes? What are the things I look for? So I'm going to talk about not only what's trending this summer and what you guys could be shopping for in general, if you want, but also what I'm looking for to fill the rest of my wardrobe with the things that I'm looking for and the little pieces that complete all these different looks. I also have a really fun story I'm going to hop into as soon as we're done with the theme song. So let's jump in. So last week I talked about how we are finally moving forward and booking our trip to Europe, right? I was so excited to share that we booked our anniversary/work trip to Europe over Thanksgiving break this fall. So we're going to be going to Zurich to do an engagement session with this amazing couple, Paris and Milan. And I was so excited about it that I neglected to tell you all the juicy tea. And of course, this is the India and Stuff podcast, so we have to get into the stuff. Okay, so I booked these flights. I had been tracking them on Google Flights for a couple weeks, watching the prices go up and down. I was on my Hopper app, which if you're looking to travel, Google Flights and Hopper are the two apps that I use to do flight predictions. Very helpful, I would say. And I noticed the flights were going down and they were predicted to increase if we didn't book soon. So I said, all right, it's time. Went ahead and, confirmed the dates with Ian on vacation dates and all those kind of things. And we're like, it's time to do this. And I don't know if this is actually true, but my neighbor growing up who I traveled with at one point and who books international flights all the time gave me this tip and said that if you book international flights on a Tuesday, they are cheaper. And every time I've checked prices, it tends to track out, right? Like it tends to be that on Tuesdays, the flights are cheaper than any other day of the week. Don't know why that is. It's also like if you fly out on a Tuesday, it's usually a little cheaper. So those are just some of my little tips, I guess. But I was like, all right, we have to follow through with this. I'm going to book on a Tuesday. So we had looked at the flights early in the morning and I kind of pinned them and kept them on my desktop all day. And then it came to the evening and it was around like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And I was like, okay, I need to book this before it turns Wednesday. I don't know. Again, like this might not mean anything, but it also might be a difference of like $100 or $200 or something. So who knows? So me and my little superstition, I get ready to book these flights and I, get the credit card out, fill in all the information, double check the dates, triple check the dates, double check the cities, triple check the cities. I'm doing all of the things. I've booked flights many times before and I finally hit submit. It says I'm confirmed. We've got our, one-way there to Europe flight. And then I do the same process for the next one and it's confirmed. And we have our one-way coming home because we're flying into Milan and flying out of Paris. So I do all the things and finally book everything and I'm feeling really excited. And then I see the confirmation email come in and that's normal. Like I should be excited. It's a good thing to confirm that, we did what we needed to do. And I see my name on the confirmation email says, congratulations, India McHugh. Which is all correct. My name is McHugh. We got married almost 4 years ago, and I changed my name legally a few months after our wedding. So my social, my license, the deed to our homes, all of that says McHugh because it's accurate. It's what I am to the government and to myself. It's been almost 4 years, this is my new name, my new name, not lame, LOL. And then I go, oh crap. Even though that's my new name, my passport still says my maiden name on it. So I instantly feel this like wave of like, oh crap, like we have to figure this out as soon as possible because it's an airline. I just spent all this money and, they're always particular and half the websites are in a different language. So I'm like, it's almost midnight. No one's going to be on customer service right now. I'm just going to wait till tomorrow morning and I'll call them, let them know I made a mistake. I'm sure I'm not the only married person who has ever put the wrong last name on their plane ticket. This will be fine. So the next morning rolls around and I realize what I've done. And since we're flying in on American Airlines and I think British Airways, and then we're flying out on Delta and Aer Lingus, I'm like, I gotta call like 4 different airlines right now. And so I start with one of them, and I think it was American, and I call them. I'm on hold for like 15 minutes. Then I finally get someone, and he's genuinely nice, but we couldn't find my login credentials at first, and then we couldn't find in my confirmation number, and I started freaking out thinking I'm not even confirmed. I just paid money to like who knows what. Like they don't even have me there. Finally, we find my confirmation number, and I explained the situation to him. I'm like, hey, passport's in one name, married legal name on all my other documents is this name. What do I do? Can I just switch it? You'd think that'd be an easy yes. You'd think that'd be like, oh, of course, this happens all the time. We have a computer in front of us. We can just go in and switch your name. This flight, mind you, is not for another 5 months. This is end of November, and I booked these tickets early June, right? So, like, we have time. This isn't, like, happening tomorrow. So I explain the situation. He puts me on hold. He says he has to talk to his manager. Then he comes back and says it's going to be $290 to cancel my flight and rebook it under a new name. And I was like, excuse me? I'm sorry, what? And he was like, yeah, if it was just a small typo, like you put the wrong letter, I could do it for free, no problem. But because you did a whole name incorrectly, we have to cancel the flight and then charge you to rebook the flight and then change not only the airline ticket with us on American, but also the airline ticket on Aer Lingus, which is a third party, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like sitting here on the phone going, no, I'm just, no. You know what I mean? Like, not to be rude, I know everyone has their process. I'm a business owner. I have my own processes for like booking, cancellation, contracts. I get it. But I was like, you're telling me that if I put my name as Linda or Lindia instead of India, if I accidentally put a little typo in there, you could change that for free. No problem. Not an issue. But the fact that I put my legal name, which is on every document I have, except for my passport, the name that I've carried with me for the last 4 years, my new actual name, you're saying that because that name is on there and not my old name, pre-marriage, not legal name anymore, you're saying that you have to charge me $290. And that was just one of the 4 airlines I had to chat with. So I'm like, there's no way in heck I'm going to do that. So I was just like, you know what, sir, I'm sorry. I think it's just going to be cheaper for me to update my passport and put my new married name on my passport. And he's like, all right, are you sure? I'm like, yes, 100% sure. Because if it's $290 at the one airline, then I have to call Aer Lingus, then I have to call Delta, then I have to call British Airways. Like, it's just too much. It's too much. So I regretfully hang up, realizing I can't just be done with the situation, and it's not an easy fix. And then I'm like, all right, it's not a huge deal. I'll just have to file the paperwork and send in my passport. Again, it's June. We've got until November, so I'm good. I might not even have to expedite it. We're all fine. Then I realize I'm such a big dummy, and I have another trip to Canada that I was already booked coming up in August, the first week of August. And June to August is only 2 months away. And so I let that sink in and go, oh no, my name is also wrong for that trip. So I need to rush order a passport immediately and see if it can get back to me with my new married last name in less than a month and a half. So that's a very different scenario than just, oh, quick little phone call and my typo will be fixed. Now it's not only like, okay, now I have to pay $175, I think, $180 to reissue a new passport before it was expired. Thankfully, I'd gotten some use out of it. I had gotten it in college, so it probably had like 4 more years, something like that left. So it would have had to be done eventually. But just the rush and like the turnaround time started to freak me out. And I was like, oh no, like I have this business trip. I'm doing a styled shoot up in Banff, Canada in August. And at this very moment, my passport is in the mail to the Department of Transportation. And I'm hoping, I paid for the expedited fee. I paid the post office to take care of my photo, so I didn't have to worry about that. I was just like, quickest solution here. So I think I paid $215 in total when I was at the post office between expediting it, the money order for the check, which the whole process is just frustrating, And it's also, by the way, it's not just the same form that everyone else would use to update a passport. It's a different form if you have a legal court-ordered name change or get married. It's just like all these little extra holes you have to jump through, because if I print off the wrong form, they reject everything and send it back, and I can't board the plane in August that I've already paid for, So it's just so frustrating. Like, you'd think you could just bring your social and your marriage license, or your license, your social, and your marriage license. You know what I mean? Like, you'd think you could just bring the documents that prove your name has been changed to the flight, worst case scenario, instead of snail mailing a check. You can't pay with credit card. They said you couldn't pay with credit card. You couldn't pay with cash. You have to snail mail a money order or a check with your marriage license and your old passport and a printed form to Washington, D.C. for them to say yes or no. I just think it's like, it is 2024. I appreciate the levels of security, I guess, but it's like, I don't understand why for the women who get married, it costs more money and takes more time just to exist and travel in the country. Like, it's, I don't know. I shouldn't be a complainer, but I was explaining it to Ian, to my husband, and he had like a light bulb moment of like, oh, like that's the patriarchy. I'm like, yeah, baby. Like, that is something guys don't have to do. They don't have to change their names when they get married. And I guess women don't have to either, but it's a culturally significant thing. It kind of signifies like blending the households, and I think the beauty of like kind of submitting to a man biblically, like not in the patriarchy way, but in the like beautiful, as Christ submits to the church, like a man submits to Christ and the woman submits to the man, like that kind of Ecclesiastes hierarchy that's like a good and beautiful thing. I think that the name change is like something I wanted to participate in, but all the little hoops you have to jump through because of that culturally normative thing is just crazy. So anyway, that was my story. That's what happened with the travel vibes. So if you want to say a prayer to the Lord, pray that my passport comes in time, because I paid a lot of extra money to make sure it would get here. It said in 3 weeks if you pay extra. And I kind of find that hard to believe, but I sent it in early June. So hopefully mid-July it rolls in, because otherwise I'm screwed. And someone else will have to take my plane seat to Canada. So, or I guess I could drive if I want to spend 50 hours in the car. So that's the update right now. What else? Today I got to go to a thrift store. I'm going to post about that on my Instagram, India and stuff. It's a new thrift store. That sounded so like normal. I go to thrift stores all the time, but it's a new to me thrift store. It's a little far of a drive for me. It's about 30-40 minutes away, but they reached out to me and asked if I would do a special video in exchange for like a gift card to their store. And I was like, heck yeah, I would love to get free clothes and tell the world about you. So it's called Sophie's Thrift. It's in Hebron, Ohio, and you'll find out more on my Instagram about the experience. But honestly, guys, like, I am getting a little frustrated with some of the prices at thrift stores these days. You've probably noticed if you started thrifting for the first time, or maybe used to thrift and are now going again, things have gone up quite a lot because it's been a trend to thrift. And as someone who grew up thrifting based on necessity, that's been a little frustrating just to notice, like, you know, oh, TikTok picked up on thrifting, so now all these Goodwills are jacking up their prices for no apparent reason. Like, yes, you know, a lot of the TikTokers can afford it, but that's not really the point, because then that's driving it up for everyone. And some of the stuff just feels wrong to mark up the prices. Like, for example, I was at a thrift store. I was at a Goodwill the other day, the one closest to me, and they're selling half-burnt candles for $5.99. You know what I mean? Like, $5.99 for a candle that's already been burnt. Like, first of all, why are people donating things like that? That's my first question. You should probably, if you don't like the scent of the candle, you could re-gift it to a friend or, you know, a close neighbor and just be like, hey, would you like this? I didn't like the smell. That's all you have to do. And if you really hate it and just want to get it out of your possession, I guess you could donate it. But you could also, like, just toss it in the trash or, you know, if you're crafty, melt the wax down and use it on a wax seal. Like, there's so many other things. Use it as a crayon. I don't know. There's so many other things you could do than donate a half-used tube of toothpaste or a half-done... I've seen lotion, like half-used lotions at Goodwills that they're selling for like $6, $7. I was like, what's happening here? We're not selling the sample bottles from Kohl's now, are we? Like, what are we doing? So I guess that's part of it, is people are donating things that are just junk and that shouldn't be at the thrift store to begin with. But then the other half is that Goodwill and similar thrift stores, Volunteers of America, Salvation Army Thrift, like all of these places are willingly putting them on the shelves and tacking a price tag to it. And then if no one buys it, they usually don't go through and like remove those items from the shelves. They should, but I don't think they do, because it's a thrift store. What can you expect? But it just sits there, and it's like such a steep price for something that's so silly to be charging money for. Yeah, it's just interesting. Things like frames, like wall art. And I love thrifting for things for our home all the time. Almost all of our furniture, except for our mattresses, are thrifted or secondhand, like bed frames, couches, chairs, all that stuff. But I have a video as well on my Instagram about thrifting wall frames for prints, and we did like a gallery wall last year. You can check that out on my India Jade photo account. It was awesome. It was super fun. That was a huge trend, like interior design trend, and I love doing it. It was awesome. But I will like have a few more spots that I wanted to get frames for in our house. And so last year when I thrifted these frames, you know, they were reasonably priced for secondhand things. Like, we're talking $5, $10, maybe $15 if it's a nicer, you know, frame with glass and gold, that kind of stuff. These days, I was just at a Goodwill. The frames are anywhere between $19 and $79. And I'm just kind of shocked. Like, I get that's kind of what a lot of these thrift flip folks do, or people that do boutiquing or maker's marks and stuff like that, which I have a whole thing on that. Like, if you're at a maker's mark and you're just selling stuff you found at a Goodwill, like, come on. Like, I get the boutique idea, but like, it's not like you made that from scratch. Like, let those be for the candlestick makers, the bakers, the photographers, the fine artists. Like, come on. Like, we can't be selling thrifted clothes at a steep price at these maker's marks when we're trying to find crafted items. I don't know. What am I saying? Anyway, I think that's just a little silly to say, hey, just because it's trending now, we're going to make an extra buck off of this thing that was given to us for free. You know what I mean? Like, all the things at thrift stores are free. The thrift store has a $0 overhead when it comes to product. Their business model is based solely on donations, and they will never not be a surplus of donations. There will always be stuff in the world that people will be getting rid of and giving to them for free. So you'd think that you would turn around and sell it at a reasonable thrift store price, like what it should be. And instead they're just like, oh no, it's trending now to do this. And this frame is glass, so someone on Etsy could buy it and make a profit. So we'll make a profit. And the thing is, every single thing that is sold from a thrift store makes them a profit. And hopefully they're good causes, like, Salvation Army or Goodwill's help a lot of local vets get jobs and people on the spectrum find employment. But anyway, I'm digressing now. All that to say, I've been a little peeved with Goodwill recently with some of the prices, and even Volunteers of America, which I love because they have been more reasonable with pricing, has kind of gone up and down with prices too. So when I found this thrift store recently in Hebron, Ohio, I should say, it made me happy because it's normal thrift store prices, as it should be. It's called Sophie's Thrift, and it is a nonprofit, and all the proceeds go to the Licking County Humane Society. So it's all going to help dogs, cats, pets in the animal shelter, which I think is a fantastic cause. I think that could help a lot of people who don't know how to thrift or are uncomfortable with the thought of it. It could help them know, like, oh, okay, it's going to such a good cause that I can clearly see and be a part of. It's a local animal shelter. It might kind of help them with the unknown of it a little and make them want to purchase something or give them a little more incentive, I guess. So I thought that was really cool, and I got to check it out today. And again, I'll post a fuller video on my Instagram. But overall, it was awesome. It had all your normal thrift store things. There were books, movies, there was home decor, furniture, a lot of furniture actually. I might go back for some furniture. They had some guys' clothes, a lot of kids' clothes, and probably the most were women's clothes, which makes sense because the girlies love to shop and wear items. So that's where I spent most of my money and time, was in the women's section today. But I ended up thrifting, I think, 4 complete outfits and an extra top for less than $50, which was amazing to me. And that's only because the prices are still thrift store prices. Most of the tops were around $4, $5. Most of the bottoms were between $4 and $6. And I got 2 vintage items, a blazer and a sweater, that were $7 and $8 because they were vintage. So you're allowed to be more expensive. But I guess what I'm saying is, when you go to Goodwill and Shein tops that, sell for $3.80 online are marked up at $11.99. I'm like, wait a second, what is happening? So anyway, check out Sophie's Thrift and follow my India and Stuff page to see that video. But today we are carrying on the theme of thrifting, and we're going to chat a little bit more about it. So first of all, the summer fashion vibes this year. It is happening. Summer is upon us. We are knee deep in summer right now, and it has been, I think, a fun summer to look at fashion. Again, I'm not a fashion influencer necessarily. I just am trying to experiment more with things. And I think it's fun to kind of observe what people are wearing, what's trending, what's selling, what are brands pushing, what's being rejected. Cough, cough, the whole Free People micro skirt situation. That's something that's being rejected. But I like noticing that kind of stuff and seeing what changes in my own wardrobe. So I wanted to share a list of things that I think are kind of trending when it comes to fashion this summer. All right, so one of the things that I think is trending this summer fashion-wise is just layers, which is hard sometimes when you live in the Midwest. And this whole last week, it was 94 degrees. So layers can get kind of tough. But I think it's something that we're seeing a lot of. And it doesn't just mean layers with a shirt and a cardigan and an undershirt and cuffed pants with leggings and all that. Not necessarily. Sometimes but it also means like layers of jewelry or layered belts, or if you have like an undershirt, having a super, juxtaposed overshirt or oversized thing, like layering with size, layering with actual materials and items, those sorts of things. So I think a lot of that just comes down to styling. That's not necessarily like some one brand pushing like the idea that you should be buying all these pieces they're selling and putting them all on at once. But I think just noticing the Pinterest girl styles, I love Pinterest girls, noticing like what I'm attracted to in my own wardrobe and what silhouettes look good on me, a lot of them have multiple layers to them. So that's something I'm trying to be intentional about, and something I think that's trending. Another thing that I think is trending are like vests. So like the thing that you would usually wear in a 3-piece suit without the suit part, without the sports coat, without the pants, just the vest, but cute vests that are being styled for the girls. Actually today when I was at that thrift store, I tried on 2 different vests. I ended up getting one, which is very cute. It was a new vest from Rue 21 with the tags on it, but I thrifted it for $4.99. It's just cream and it has big buttons, but I love it. I think it's really cute, and it's gonna look great with like white slacks, gold jewelry, a slick back bun, a nice little purse. I'm already excited to wear it. I think it's gonna be great. But those kinds of things, like just the vest so that you can kind of tap into like a masculine style, but still look very feminine when you pair it with jewelry and hair that's like feminine, and like a ballerina bun or slicked back, some soft makeup, stuff like that. I think that look is really in. I've seen a couple brands push it. I've also just seen it a lot on some social media friends. So vests are in. Another one is white on white or cream on cream. Monochrome in the lighter colors, I think, is really in. I don't know if this has ever gone out. I think it's always a very classy style, but I've seen a lot of this, particularly at my church, honestly. Some of the girlies who love to, dress and care specifically about fashion, I've noticed a lot of the like white oversized t-shirt with a long white skirt, or denim on denim is another one. But I saw the other day a cream top, like a light creamy tank top with a corduroy cream skirt with like a nice slit in the I think to the side. Really cute, right? Like those are really cute looks, and it looks very put together, very formal, while still feeling summery and friendly and not too dressed up. But it's just the fact that you like were intentional about pairing the color to match the top and the bottom, I think is really, really pretty. Okay, another trend I'm noticing, light minty yellow green. And maybe I'm just saying this is what I'm noticing because I'm trying to look for colorful outfits on Pinterest all the time. So maybe this is just biased of like what my Pinterest searches are looking like. But that light kind of sorbet, soft yellow green, I think is a really fresh color, particularly on lighter complexions, but also, you know what? I'm gonna take that back. I think any complexion can rock that color. I've seen it on tan models. I've seen it on darker skinned models. I think it's a really flattering color that I honestly may have overlooked in the past, but I think it's really beautiful. I actually just thrifted a top with like, I think it's a Queen Anne's neckline. It's like really high neckline, but it's in that same color. It's so soft. I got it for $3 and it's that shade and I love it so much. I'm going to wear it to my New York trip next week. I'm so excited about it. Holy crap, that's next week. I got a lot to do. Anyway, so I think that color is trending. I also think lavender, we've seen that trend the past few years, but I still think lavenders and soft bubblegum pink were in the wake of Barbie. So I think those female-leaning kind of like girlish colors are still not nearly as trendy as they were last year, but still in the path of bubblegum, beautiful, soft, feminine, Glinda color scheme trend. So I think that's something up for grabs as well. I also will, on the same lighter palette, I think soft yellow in general is a trending color. Another trend I'm noticing, I think this is because of pickleball being on the rise, but just like skirts in athleisure wear or bodysuits that are like athletic wear. So like black, bodysuit that you can step into that's kind of like the shorts and the top built in one, or same idea with like a white collared tennis shirt with a white skirt, stuff you could wear to play tennis or pickleball. I'm seeing that a lot as well. And I think it's really cute. I love it. It's like a little, Harvard, Ivy League athleisure. Very cute. Okay, the last thing I think is trending right now are these small purses. And you guys probably know exactly what I'm talking about. These small black bag that has like a round handle to bag ratio that like you just kind of tuck up on your shoulder under your arm. I think those are everywhere. I don't go to Target much at all, but I could see those being in the universal thread section in all the different shades. They're kind of like woven looking. Those are a huge trend right now. And because they're a huge trend, I don't really want any of them. If I thrift one, that's fine, I guess, but I'm not like intentionally looking for them. But they are definitely trendy. And I do love a good small bag, but I think there's something about that specific one that is like inexpensive, fast fashion from Target that I just don't want, because I know it's going to fall apart before the year's even over. It's made with like synthetic, plasticky, leathery, stuff that's just going to peel away. But small bags of the same nature that are actually vintage, maybe in like a red or a pop of color, like a bright yellow bag. Even the black bag is cute. If I find a small one like that that's from a thrift store or actually a vintage bag, I could definitely see myself purchasing it and loving it. So now another great transition into what we are chatting about when it comes to what I'm shopping for this summer to complete my summer wardrobe. Like I said, I love observing trends. Sometimes I kind of try to rise above them and go, no, like I'm not going to be mainstream. I'm not going to follow whatever everyone's doing and wearing. And other times I'm like, I love it. It's trending for a reason. It's cute. I want to try it. So I think that's the fun part about fashion is like other trendy things like that go with our lifestyles or the culture movement. Those can come and go. And sometimes they have like the internal insignificance of like, a frog. It just doesn't really matter, and it can guide us the wrong way sometimes. But fashion feels like fun and playful, where you can try a trendy thing, and if someone thinks you're being mainstream, that's their deal. You can try something else next time. And the best part is, because I'm such a huge like sustainable advocate, thrifter fan, if everyone's trying trends via thrifting and secondhand shopping, it really harms no one. There's no fast fashion engine that's getting fed. There's, nothing really wrong with sewing some money back into your local, community thrift store. So it's not like it's the same as following all these fast fashion trends by buying mass-produced things from Nasty Gal and Shein and H&M and Temu, right? It's a very different thing when it's like, oh, small purses are trending. I'm going to go to Goodwill and look for a small purse. And if I find one, I'm going to spend $5 at my local Goodwill, which is a nonprofit, and it's fine, So anyway, here are the things that I'm shopping for this summer in my thrifty wardrobe to kind of complete my summer looks. And some of them do go with those trends. The first is a long white skirt. I've been looking for one of these same exact thing, long denim skirt or corduroy skirt. Not in the Amish vibes, but in the trendy, cute, tall girl vibes, which I'm not tall, but I could see that with like a pair of black boots and a nice belt and a cute top being a all year, all season long staple. So that's one of those things I want to add to my closet soon. It doesn't have to be this summer, but just because I've been noticing the rise of those items, I want to get in on it early and be able to be like, yeah, I started wearing those before they were cool. Another thing, the vests, denim vests specifically. I've been noticing those. I would love to grab one. I think those are so cute. Again, layering something kind of traditionally masculine like a suit vest with feminine jewelry and like a pair of heels, adorable. I love it. I think it's so fun. Shows a little skin. It feels like a tank top, but it's still got a boxy silhouette, so you're covered, and it's just like a different take on the sleeveless shirts for the summer. So I'm a huge fan. I'm also looking for large or oversized bags. I know the tiny bags are in, but the large bags are kind of my jam. That's just a functionality thing. I always have so much stuff floating around when I'm going out for the day. Like I usually bring my laptop charger, my hard drive, my book, lip gloss, my wallet, my water, a snack. You know, there's all kinds of goodies tucked into my purse at all times. That small bags to me are reserved for like special occasions where all I need is my phone, my wallet, and a lipstick. But bigger occasions or days when I'm actually going out and about, which is most of my life, I need a bigger bag for it. So I'm actually all good, you know, on purses, but I'm just saying these things is if I found an oversized bag that spoke to me at a thrift store, you know I'm getting it. Okay, another thing I'm looking for this summer, boxy men's oversized tees. It doesn't have to be men's, but I say that because I like some of the vintage, you know, looks of the guys' tees, and it's harder to find those in women's sections. So, you know, things that have mountain ranges on them, or a Coca-Cola t-shirt from the 90s, or an oversized Budweiser shirt, or, you know, like rock and roll band t-shirts, like stuff like that. It's a lot of fun to find those and layer them with like bicycle shorts or blue jean cutoff shorts. Or even just, I have a really cute one that I love. It's a New Mexico Santa Fe t-shirt. Ian and I thrifted, and sometimes we do this. When we find a shirt we both like, we make sure it'll fit both of us. Like we get a large or an extra large and go, okay, cool, we're sharing it. And I just wear it as like a pajama shirt, and once in a while I'll wear it out, and I love it. It's just so comfy. You don't have to worry about anything, and who wears it too sometimes. So we love stuff like that. Okay. The other things I'm looking for, I got 3 more. Loose knit tops for layering, because again, layering is trending. And I think I already spoke about this. I love like loose knit beachy wear kind of tops, like dresses, pants that you could put over your swimsuit at the beach or at the pool, even though we're not near either of those things. I think I just like that look of wearing you know, tight camisole or something underneath, and then you could pop something like that over top. I think it's really pretty. Okay, another one is clogs. I thrifted, you guys, my favorite pair of clogs ever. They're a Land's End pair of clogs. I got them at Volunteers of America in the spring for $3.99. I love them. They're so comfy. My only problem is that they are a half size too small, which is fine. I just let my foot hang over the edge just a tad. It's not a big deal. But also because I'm a sweaty girl, like I'm a sweaty girly, the bottom of the clogs when I wear them without socks, which is what you usually do, it just starts to peel off every time I wear them on a hot day. So I don't need to replace them this summer, but I'm always looking for shoes like that at the thrift store that are in like brand new, like new condition, that are an 8.5 to 9, and that, you know, will last me. And that's a hard thing to come by. So sometimes I just need to go to DSW and just get shoes. But other times I'm always looking at the thrift store in the shoe section for the once in a while rare occurrence where I'll find the exact thing I need. Okay, and the last thing I'm looking for this summer, shopping for, are accent scarves. And this is kind of something I always look for when I'm at a thrift store. But I've gotten some beautiful silky scarves at Goodwill's, Goodwill Bins, Volunteers. And they don't really sell stuff like that at the more upscale, trendy thrift stores like Plato's or Uptown. But I love a good scarf. Like if you've seen The Greatest Showman, when Michelle Williams is like standing on the pier in upstate New York and her scarf's just like whipping in the wind, that's just like, you know, nostalgic of movies from the 50s and 60s. Like I love it. I think it's so pretty. You don't have to wear it the same way all the time. You don't have to wear it just around your neck. You could wear it as a belt. You could wear it around your head as a headscarf in the summertime. Like there's so many ways to wear it. And I think it's a lot of fun to have those pieces in my closet. So I've got, I think, 2 or 3 already. And I like just looking out for different patterns, or if I find a particularly cute, like vintage one or something that's kind of unique. So that's about it. That's the stuff I'm looking for this summer. My closet honestly is full. Like, I don't need much. I really don't. I'm very grateful to have had a very fun thrifting year, and this year, I think, since I'm recovering from my year of no new things, I went thrifting way too much in the first half of this year. So from here on out, I'm probably, just going to go once in a while with friends and not really have any intention of getting anything else. But if I do find anything, those are my summer items I'm looking for. So I hope this is fun. I hope you get out and thrift today. And if you are on Instagram, please follow India and Stuff and check out my review of Sophie's thrift, and let me know which outfits you want me to get from that thrift store, and I'll do a little recap of what I bought. Hope you guys have a great day. Bye!